What's good with everybody, man? Appreciate everybody from tapping in, man. Today we got a guest, Charisma 808, who's also a music producer.
What's up, Terry P? What's up, everybody? I'm Charisma 808, a producer, a role model, a jack of all trades, the one, the only, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. What's going on?
Yep. We got a few questions for you, man. So we're just gonna start with the first one. How did you get into producing?
I got into producing, let's take it back. I was always involved in music, starting in kindergarten. I was playing the piano, in the choir, basically throughout school. Anything else that I could involve myself in that had to do with music,
Yeah.
I would I would go into that field, go into that practice. And as as I moved on, in school and got to higher grade levels, I would participate in the drum team. And then I would say it got to a point to where when I would listen to music, to rap music or any song in general, I could deconstruct what was going on in my head as far as music theory goes.
Mm.
So I could hear a song and I could solo out everything in my head and only hear what the drums are doing. I could solo out everything in my head and only hear what the pianos were doing. So from there, it brought a curiosity to where, what if I was to make my own music? And I would say around about middle school, maybe in the sixth grade,
Mm-hmm.
that I met a friend whose father was a music producer.
Mm.
And my friend on the school bus one day, he was just talking about to me about how he makes beats and things like that. So I was asking him what software he was using, and he didn't really tell me. He was just basically he showed me how to Google search it, but he didn't tell me exactly what software he was using. And I first came across Easy Drummer, and eventually just getting around more people and learning about production. I came across a mentor that moved next door to me,
Mm-hmm.
and he moved next door to me. He had his own studio, and he introduced me to Fruity Loops. While in the meantime, while he introduced me to Fruity Loops, it was probably about my sophomore year in high school. So throughout all that time, I was always involved in music. I didn't know how to play, but I always knew how to play by ear. So if I got my hands on an instrument, I would be able to do my best to play it. But I wasn't scared of or backing away from any instruments. And
Mm.
even in the choir. So that experience just taught me about music. It trained my ear what notes sound good with other notes. It trained my ear to know about different genres of music. So my sophomore year of high school comes. This guy moves next door from me. He had a studio in his basement. And in school, we had a class that everybody was using Fruity Loops on. And nobody would tell me how to make beats. So people would just laugh at what I was doing. And the whole time they had their secrets and they just wouldn't tell me. But they were that much more advanced than me in Fruity Loops.
Mm.
And the guy next door from me, he ended up having Fruity Loops, using Fruity Loops coincidentally. And he told me that he'll make a copy of the software. He made a copy, paid $25 for it. He came to my house, he set it up on my computer, and that's where everything started.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, being in like the drum line, when people be doing like their sectionals, because I was in drumline too. Like when people do like their own sectionals, that's when you really get an ear for like, okay, this instrument sounds like this. But like from the outside looking in, it's kind of like you just hear music.
Yeah, yeah.
You,
So Drumline, and speaking of the movie Drumline, that's where I got interest in drum production, drum
mm,
patterns. Um, yeah, the snare drum. I played the snare drum
same
in
with
the
me.
early part of my high school, and I had a drum solo, and I did it in front of. It was like eight. It was a okay. This part you're gonna have to edit out, but
Mhm.
so in high school, I was on the drum team in the early part of my high school. and there was like a rally where all the high schools would meet together, all the drum teams, and just showcase what we were doing. And I had a snare drum solo in front of it was a lot of people. I can't even keep count. But it's
Dang.
funny because mid mid drum solo, I freeze because I guess it was just something just in my head. I just froze for maybe a split second. So I'm playing the drum, freeze, maybe for about 3 seconds, and then something just I think I got nervous or whatever the case was. Maybe I forgot what was going on, and about 3 seconds, I froze, and then I started playing again. And everybody went crazy. People went crazy because I thought I intentionally did that, and that
Mm.
was something that was popular. If you ever watched Drumline, they would be doing a solo, the drum solo, and they would stop just to give it a break, and then they would, and just stuff like that just let me know that I was built to do this. And just a little gem there. Sometimes if you add a little rest in your music, it builds more um, intensity, anticipation. Sometimes that's why I don't know if you ever hear some beats or some songs in general. There might be a break sometimes within the beat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they do that. And that's what led me into getting started on music production. I started my first beat at 15.
Yep, yep. What was like that moment? Maybe you was making a beat, or maybe you came up with an idea and you like, I'm actually nice at this. Like I could really take over the game.
I've always been making beats inconsistent in my career, and throughout the early part of my career, when I was just exploring, just learning the software, uh, that's what it was for me. Just knowing that I could get better over time. I always was in competition with the people around me, and I
Mm,
just wanted to be better. And when I would play my beats for people, sometimes this was back when SoundClick was popular. People would hear my beats and they would just be like, "Oh, okay," and then they would turn on the SoundClick beat, and I would just, that just lit a fire inside of me. And
what's
then
SoundClick?
SoundClick is what BeatStars is today.
Mm,
So SoundClick back then, the popular producers on that site was Johnny Giuliano, Vibe Beats, and it was another guy. And this was about my junior year in high school, around my junior year in high school. So um, I just kept making beats and kept staying consistent at it.
hmm
Now, when people started leasing beats from me and buying beats from me was in college. Even back then I wasn't that good. It was this guy who was leasing beats from me, and then that's back then we used to have CDs. We used to have to do stuff on CDs, so people was just leasing beats from me in college, and I couldn't even believe it for real. I leased my first beat for like 25. It didn't even feel right. Well, that 25, because I needed it. I was in college. I had to get something from Walmart. I was
hmm
like, man, I got to keep doing this. And I kept at it. So it was for me. I don't know if I had that moment where it was like, oh yeah, I could take over, but it was just out of rejection and out of just wanting to keep being really really good. That had me like I could do this, for I could make this as a career. And then when I started seeing the producers like Zaytoven, this is about my freshman year in college. I started seeing producers like Zaytoven, Lex Luger, Shawty Red, Timbaland. I started seeing all these producers that were really doing this, like in the studio. I was watching them from YouTube. So
mm,
mind you, prior to this, I hadn't known anything that like I knew that I could make beats, but I wasn't exposed to like a Zaytoven or a Timberland before I started making beats. I was just handed the software and I just wanted to make beats, and then that's where it was at for me. For a
Mm,
lot of people, they might see these guys, Lex Luger, and if that's their route, that's their route. Cool. But for a lot of people, they might see these guys and want to emulate what they do, but it wasn't that for me. They inspired me to keep going, and they inspired me that oh yeah, I could really do this as a career. And yeah, that's when I knew that I had something that I could go for it as a career. When I started to seeing that it was producers that were actually making a living off of it.
yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know, second year in college.
Mm. You pretty much answered the next question. It was about who your early influences are or were and how they shaped your sound. But for the next
Early
question,
influences, we got to go way back now because I grew up and my pops was playing jazz for me, so it was the
mm,
Miles Davis, the Wynton Marsalis. Um, we talking about Lauryn Hill, Public Enemy. Like earliest influence has to be my earliest memories of what music I was listening to.
mm,
So just back then, just being in tune and just listening to different harmonies and melodies, and this was maybe probably my maybe about sixth grade, early middle school, when I started listening to R&B and yeah, what is that? Jagged Edge, Boyz II Men, all of that was what became of me being a producer and the type of producer I am today.
mm,
Just the love for music, the love for notes and harmonies and different rhythms and switching it up. That's how come I stay versatile as a producer. So it would have to be those, and then when it comes to producers, okay, it's going to be Luger. I'm really inspired by every producer. There are producers that I'm still inspired by to this day, but early on it was Lex Luger, it was Manny Fresh, it was Shawty Red, D Rich, Zaytoven, any producer you name it, Timbaland, any producer I was inspired by, and they had me wanting to keep going with what I was doing, or even keep pursuing it even more.
mm. What would you say like your biggest challenges were early on in your career?
Biggest challenges, doubters, people not believing in me, people not wanting to show me nothing about Fruity Loops, just wanting to fit in, wanting to be accepted, not having money or not having the equipment that everybody else may have had. I've had a long career, but most of it is from just working hard and just proving myself. I've had many challenges in my career, conflicts with artists and labels, and the music game. It really isn't what it seems. You know, they show you one thing. When I say they, I mean the producers that are quote unquote successful or in the scene. They show you one thing, and it looks like they're having a good time and making money off this off their music, but then it's like behind the curtain, it's a whole nother story. That's not the case for everybody. You
Mm,
know, I've had many challenges. Another was when I had a surgery and I was paralyzed for a couple years in a wheelchair, and this was probably in about 2017,
mm,
and this was at the height of my career when everything was shaking for real, and that was really make or break. But I was so conditioned into making beats. Mind you, let's go back even before then. I would prepare myself in severe conditions for certain challenges. It was like, okay, today I'm gonna make 5 beats. I'm gonna take my bed out the room, so I won't be able to go to sleep. I would do things like, because living in the cold up in Milwaukee, where I'm from, living in the cold, I would be like, okay, today I'm about to make beats in the cold for a couple hours and make a full beat in the cold and 0 degree weather, just to basically condition myself for mental preparation for when those difficult situations would occur. Could I still make beats in uncomfortability? Could I still make beats in harsh conditions? And making, just still producing, being around people that I didn't like. Certain things like that, it built me to keep going. So when it comes, when I'm paralyzed now, and it was like, okay, so now I just got to sit down and make beats. I've been doing that my whole career.
Mm.
And so that made it easy. That was probably the toughest challenge I had, because there was like make or break. Okay, could I keep doing this, or should I just go to something else? And then there was a time where I was in a nursing home, and this was when I could only use one hand at the time. And mind you, it was around Christmas in the nursing home, and I had never played their song "Joy to the World." That's a song they play around the holidays, and I could already play by ear. So I'm just playing around, you know. Then next thing you know, I play that song "Joy to the World" on the piano, and it was this couple. They came out of their room and they just sitting and watching me play. I hit every note right. I didn't miss one note. And when they got done watching me play and they started clapping, I didn't even see them, mind you. I didn't even see them. I just hear clapping. But I had found out they came out their room later, and then that let me know something. I was like, okay, now I really got something with this music, and no matter what condition I'm in, I'm gonna always be doing music still. So that was the toughest challenge. That was one of the tougher challenges. Another tougher challenge is just going against the grain in the industry, not letting people take advantage of me, um, not letting people get over on me on the business end, and just fighting for myself. And then you face a situation where you stand up for yourself in the music industry. People don't like that. So then there's a situation to where you could get blacklisted like that. You could get blackballed. People don't want to mess with you. People look at you as difficult. So another difficult situation is just realizing the value of myself and realizing that I don't need to fit in with these people to be successful within the music game. You know, knowing that I'm the driver of my own career, and whether the whole music industry could be against me, I'll still find success just at music in general. And that was tough, because you have situations to where I had conflicts with artists just from standing up for myself. And then when I'm want to maneuver and work with people, the artist might tell these people over here, oh, don't work with Charisma because he's difficult to work with, or whatever the case is. He might want this percentage, or he wants too much for his beats. So there were times when I would be working with people this close, and I'm talking about established artists. One of them, I'm gonna just name one of them, NLE Chopper's one of them. So where I'm communicating with the moms and everything, and then next thing you know, a couple weeks later, the artist that I had a conflict with, somehow, some way, they ended up communicating or working with the artist that I'm NLE Chopper, for example, I'm working with, and then next thing you know, the situation don't fall through, and I just be like, interesting. But I know what it is at the same time. It's like, oh, they must have said this or that, and that's where the split happened. And then that has happened occasionally, and then so yeah, that was a difficult situation. But now I don't try to be chasing it behind these people for placements or nothing like that. And like I said, I look at it like I'm the driving force of my own career. So excuse me, there is no artist that I need. There's an artist right now. I really think I could take any artist and make them pop.
Mm.
An example of that, because most of my artists that I've worked with, they're successful right now. Whether we fell out or not, majority of them are. And I met them probably when they had 10,000 views on their music, or even less than that. So if I could work with somebody who's just up and coming and nobody knows about, I could literally take somebody off the streets that's probably getting, or even if they're just getting 100 plays, I could I could I could work with them and help their career. If I don't make them blow up, I could get them to the point where they can connect with somebody that's gonna make them blow up.
Mm. Hey, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
But no, with all them adversities and challenges you were saying, that could really affect somebody. So like mentally who's not strong. But have you ever thought about quitting? Or if so, like what keeps you going?
Have I thought about quitting? Um, I never thought about quitting. It's tatted on me. Um, what we at with this thing? Running out of time. Okay, we're gonna have to jump back in. But is it still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. I never thought about quitting. I always thought about how could I adjust what I'm doing. Have I grew tired of the music industry? Yes, I have. But I never thought about quitting. I always thought about what can I do better. Now quitting, no. Taking breaks, yes. I've taken many breaks, and I don't mind at all. I've taken 1 month break, 2 months break, 3 months break, and had I looked back over my career, if I was to do it all over again, I would have been taking more breaks. I mean, sometimes I think producers we work so hard that we don't focus on the internal. It's just so much of the external. But that back when you said so to like kind of dig deeper into your question, we focus on the internal. Okay, where's my confidence level? How do I feel about myself? Am I healthy? Am I mentally healthy? We're talking about outside of music. Before I got in the game, I was already right with God. So it was nothing that the game could throw at me or dangle in my face, a chain, a car, this or that, a house, that because I always knew that the Most High could offer away a lot more for me as long as I'm staying upright, righteous, keeping my morals, treating people right, and moving how I'm supposed to. Um, I always knew that I could be successful with the Most High. If I'm successful with the Most High, I'll be successful in life in general. So when that translates to music, it's like nothing could affect me. So when people blackball me, it didn't affect me. Why? Because I'm right. I'm right with God. I'm right with myself. So I think that's most important. Producers to get right with God and right with themselves, and then you'll never see a thing of okay, I'm going to quit. It's your gift. You're not. It's forever. It's your gift. Your gift doesn't have to revolve around the music industry just because you're talented musically. You could. There's so much things you could do with music that might not have to involve in the music industry. And then at the same time, we as producers, we have to look at ourselves like we're our own music industry. So we don't need anybody. Everything now is like laid out for you. You know, music videos, distribution, everything. You don't have to go that route. So when I took myself outside of the music industry matrix, that's when I felt the most strength. Now I look at those people as weak. A lot of them are. A lot of them. It's such a small industry. A lot of them need each other to maneuver. I don't, and some of them don't like me for that. And I just carry that confidence because if I got confidence in the Most High, I already know from using my gifts, my gifts are gonna make room for me and provide opportunity for me, and it always does. So and then so yeah, quitting, no, taking breaks, yes, definitely. You need your breaks. Us producers, we shouldn't be sitting in studios. Now, some days we might rock out and make beats, 5 beats a day, but we shouldn't be spending the majority of our time making beats. We shouldn't do that. Work on your life, work on yourself, work on your mental strength because in your mental strength, that's going to be the most important part of it. If you have mental strength, there's nothing that you could go through that should make you want to quit. I know producers that their equipment might have gotten stolen. Their laptops have gotten wiped. They might have had a kid by the wrong woman, A lot of producers that I know quit, and it was just like there was a producer that I was working close with. We would be working close with each other every day, but his mentality was like, well, if I could make at least $100 a beat, then maybe I'll be more serious, and that was his mentality. And but my mentality was, okay, if I keep working at this, then I'm gonna get the $100 that I want. And now, I mean, music pays my bills, so I'm not chasing a dollar out this thing. Producers, they should have a deeper why than just making money when it comes to this music stuff. They should have the why shouldn't be a car. The why shouldn't be a house. It should be something greater, because if you're doing it for that stuff, you might be let down. And I would say producers, find out ways to make money so you can have those things outside of music. Creating music should be a joy. It shouldn't be a stress thing. It shouldn't be oh man, I'm broke. Let me hustle and see what I can do here. No, you shouldn't do that. Music should be fun. Now, do what you can to hustle and build your life up. And I'm not even saying have a backup plan with that either. But building your life up, you got to build your life up regardless of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? No matter if a producer making 100,000 a year, he still got to build his life up. And in this economy, you'll be a damn fool if you only making money off music. You're gonna want to do a bunch of other things. So if you're doing that, you having your stuff together. You're not relying on music to pay your bills and get you nice things. You already got this stuff. And then when you got your credit right and all that stuff, then when you come to the table around other musicians, then you come in with the bread to invest. You can go catch a flight here and there. You're not just sitting around just watching people make moves, or you're not sitting around waiting on somebody to come to you with an opportunity. Hey, I'm gonna fly you out here. Nah, nah. No, you could go fly yourself out there. So you're not on nobody else's dime and time. You moving off your own hard earnings.
Hmm.
Hope that answers that question.
Now that was some real game. That was some real
I
game.
try to I try to I know I digress, but I be trying to hit so many different areas of the question.
No, for real. Do you have any networking tips for new producers or for producers like in 2025?
Networking tips, of course, social media, definitely social media. You wanna be presentable. Um, be presentable. Don't be looking like you sleep in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Producers, we gotta bring this style back. We gotta. If you gotta put a suit on, put a suit on. But don't be. Come on, the snapback with the headphone producer. Come on, we gotta do a little bit better. So presentable, appealing, just putting your beats out there every now and then. Look, people want to be able to hear something, and put some beats out there every now and then. However you want to do it, I would say reach out to different artists, whether it's artists on a major label or artists just at the lowest level. Excuse me. Stay on social media. Stay on social media. Have a unique presence about yourself on social media. You don't just look like the guy that goes back to the guy that just make beats in the studio all day. Expose other gifts and talents that you may have. Learn different things in different spaces. Because if you connecting yourself to different areas, meaning you might know some people in business, you might know some people in the culinary space. Somebody that they know gonna be involved with music. So and you doing music, I do music. That's something that you have to offer. So never exclude yourself, if that's the right word, or seclude or exclude. I'm sorry if I got the word wrong, but to just only dealing with a certain type of people, or I only just don't be the producer, or only just deal with rappers, or only just deal with managers. Nah, through that social media, when it comes to networking, get to know all different kind of people. Involve even when it comes to outside of producing, networking, involve yourself into other areas of life, whether it's real estate or whatever, what other areas you might have interest in. Because long and behold, it's music everywhere. It goes back to what I said, and everything ends up connecting in some way. So somebody theirs could be a real estate agent that they might need intro music for some of their real estate videos, and here you go as a producer that knows how to do music.
Mm.
Also, if you're a producer, another way. So when it comes to networking, have some tools to provide. If I'm getting at that, have tools to provide other than just making beats as well. Because even when you and let's cover the basics here. You're a producer, hit artists up all day. Tell them you got beats. Find artists that you like, hit them up. They respond or they don't. Send your beats out. Make sure you got the metadata in the beat. You know, so they always know who the beat comes from. You got the details embedded within the MP3 or the WAV file of the beat of who you are and all that. So yeah, along with networking, be able to provide tools because when you run into an artist, you want to be able to show them more than that you just make music. Oh, I do photos too. I have a camera. I know this about business. I know this about copyright. You know, so the artists they'll have a faster route to success when they're working with you as a producer.
Okay, okay. Let's see. How do you know when a beat is done?
When I export it, what? How do you know? How do you when you say that? Can you rephrase the question a little there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like sometimes people make a beat, or some even me. Like sometimes I'll go back and touch up a certain beat. Like it's not with every beat, but like sometimes I go back and touch up certain things or switch out certain instruments. But how you know when like something you gotta like keep that
Yeah.
sticky note up and don't take it down. Just like keep it up just the way it is. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I try not to put too much stress on it. I try to finish my beats because when I export it, I can always go back
Mm,
if I want to. But once the beat is done, it's done, and I really don't go back that often. You know, unless it's post production and the artist is asking, "All right, could you change this part up or that part?"
mm,
But typically, you know when a beat is done when it has the elements. Okay, is it properly arranged? If it's arranged properly, however you do it, intro, hook, verse, intro, verse, hook, intro, verse, hook, bridge, excuse me, however you arrange the beat, is it arranged? Does the beat make you rock? Does it make you rock? Does it make you want to turn up? Does it have a groove? Is it mixed? Okay, it doesn't have to be mixed to perfection, but is it mixed? Can the listener rap over? Can the artist rap over the beat? If you can't freestyle to the beat yourself, then like, come on now,
for real.
you doing the artist a disservice. Is it properly formatted? Meaning, does it have a hook, a verse, an intro, or a bridge? Two, can you rock to it or rap over it? Can a song be made over it? I'm not. I'm not okay because some producers sometimes we get in our own head. Does the music communicate to the artist what to do? Does the beat tell the artist what to do? Meaning the intro's not 30 seconds. The intro, some producers they make beats and the intro be so long, it take the attention. The artist got short attention spans, so you want that beat to come in, or you want the artist to know what to do within the first 15 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds of the beat. They should be
Mhm.
able to freestyle right away. As soon as your beat come on, they should kind of know where it's going. Okay, I hear the intro. Okay, this is the flow of it. Let me start rapping. So you got an okay mix. You got a good arrangement. Um, you can rap over it, and then export it. That's how you know when the beat is done. That's how I know when the beat is done.
A lot of producers they get finesse because they don't know certain knowledge. You know me, I got finesse a lot of times, and that's why I'm in contact with you because I heard about you. You know, Digi Beats brought me up to you and said, you know, if I need some help with copyright, anything. Actually, he gave me tips, but you know, he gave me further deeper tips and told me that I should talk to you. So like,
Attitude, me and DG, we go back, man. As far as this producing stuff go, I mentor him.
mm,
So for me to mentor him, and you see, he got on no jumper with the game that I gave him. It was just incredible.
mm,
Had I had had I would have probably coached him a little better. I would have probably tell him represent himself better. Um, for the whole producer community, because the guy he went there with, the rapper he went there with, I think DG could have outshined him.
mm,
And I mean, just producers, we just got to make sure we represent ourselves to the best on these platforms. You got to show up suited and booted, however you do it. Show up looking your best, ready to talk your best, outshine everybody in the room. So that's just a little gem right there. But as far as you talking about getting finesse, what was
yeah,
your
yeah.
question? Getting
I was
finesse?
gonna say like, have you ever been like finessed in the rap game, like, or the
Man,
music
yeah,
game
I've been
early on?
finessed many a times, many a times. I've been finessed even when I was coming up to where I would get ready to send the beat, and they would be like, "Okay, we're gonna pay you for the track outs," and you send them the track outs, and then they don't send you the money. Been
Mm,
finessed like that. Been finessed to where you having a conversation over the phone with some artists that might be out of town, and oh yeah, we're gonna pay you this and that for beats and this and that, and then so you spend your money, go out of town, spend money you barely even have to go out of town, take the trip. Then you working with these artists, and then like when it's all said and done, they acting funny about the money or they ain't trying to pay you and all
mm.
this kind of stuff. Then finesse that you like you not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it without getting finesse. The thing is to learn from your mistakes and learn the game so you don't get finessed.
Okay. Um, how do you protect your work in that case, or like how you know,
You
you,
protect your work by copywriting. And then something I recently just learned metadata. You register the copyright. You want to register the copyrights to your beats. You want to register your trademark, what you that your producer name is, and you do that through uspto.gov. You can register your trademark there and register the copyright to your beats to get the copyright certification. So if you ever run into a conflict, you have a copyright certification to represent your catalog, and you do that through the copyright.gov website. And also metadata. Metadata is something I just started learning about. Metadata is kind of what we touched on in our consultation.
mm-hmm,
Um, that's embedding your beats with all the your personal data to let you, it has to do with encoding, and it's a little detail right now. It's one of those more I could tell you and I could show you better than I could tell you things. But if you're watching this interview, look more into metadata, and you want to put your copyright information within the beat. So when you pull your beat up, your copyright information appears in the properties and details of the original file. Don't just send your track outs out there. That's another way to protect your beats. Don't be so quick to, oh, I got, he buying the exclusive rights. Let me send him the files for the beat. Hold off on those track outs. We don't pull those track outs out till there's big money involved. Or unless you have a very good relationship with an artist, don't just be pulling track outs out because they could really own the beat exclusively with that. If to protect yourself, also, if you sell a beat to somebody, put something in writing. I don't
mm-hmm.
care if it's 3 sentences long. Put something in writing. What's going on? And yeah, So any conflicts, make sure they sign it. Any conflicts, both of y'all got something in writing to show what went on as
Yeah.
far as y'all dealings with each other on the business side of things.
Do you got any like advice for producers who like grinding in silence? Maybe they don't know how to network, maybe they don't know how to, put themselves out there, maybe they just grinding in that mode right now.
Well, you got to put yourself out there. I don't care if you don't think your beats are good. Keep putting yourself out there. Keep having people tell you that they don't like your beat. Your beat is trash. Can you make beats like this person? Now I'm not saying make beats like that person, but even if they show you a producer, they be like, can you make beats like this? Don't take offense to it. Uh, if this is for producers who are just coming up, who are just grinding in silence, as you say. Now, if you already established and somebody says, make me a beat like this, you could just look at them like they crazy because it's like, no, you came to me for my sound.
Mm.
But even still, if somebody come at you like that, take notes from the producer. Listen to that producer that they showing you. I'm not saying model your sound after them, but yeah, listen and take notes. Study all producers and keep putting your beats out there. Keep getting around circles. Don't be too much in the shadows. You have to make yourself relevant. You have to get your beats heard. You have to get artists on your beats because if you don't, it's just your beats are just gonna be sitting on your computer and you're gonna have unfinished beats. And that's another thing. Finish the beat. Don't. Oh, I've been working on this beat, and you know, 6 months later, you still working on that same beat. Finish the beat. When you start a beat, you should. I say finish the beat right then and there. I don't care if it take you an hour. I don't care if it take you 2 hours, 15 minutes. Finish the beat, export it. Go on to the next beat. You're not spending weeks and months to make a beat. You can always go back, add some things, get your idea out, export the beat, get it to an artist. The ones who are up and coming, study music, study music, study music. Don't be trying to use loops and samples all the time. Learn what kind of music you like. Study that kind of music that you like. I don't care if it's heavy metal and gospel. Study the music that you like and incorporate that into your style of production. That's the best advice I could really give you. That's what's gonna make you unique and separate you from all the other producers that just grabbing loops and just throwing them on a beat. Like, nah, that's you want to be a producer. You want to be in a situation to where you could be put in a room with any type of artist and you know what to do. You know what you could do. You know your capabilities. You know you could at least produce a song for that artist, no matter what genre it is. Up and coming and still in the shadows. I was just how I said, get your life together. Get your life together. Get your life together. Get your life together. Work on things. More income. More fit. Your mental health, physical health. Go out and have fun too. When I say have fun, you still want to keep it responsible. I would say don't focus on getting a girlfriend like that. There are a lot of producers who quit because they got a girlfriend and then they just slacked up and got lazy. Mm-mm.
For real.
Don't do that. The girl shouldn't having a girlfriend shouldn't make you be like, oh, I'm gonna just take a break from music or whatever the case is because I'm not making money off of it right now and I want to just get some money just only for the fact that I'll be able to take my girl out and none of that. If she don't understand your goal, your dream, which a lot of women aren't, they aren't, and hey, if she don't, she don't. There are a lot of girls that doubted me and You know, they were saying, well, what I'm doing is just some dream, and they didn't believe in my dream, but they might have believed in the dreams of like a drug dealer or something like that, which they have every right to do and they could. But years later, they still seen me working, and they ended up seeing me be successful in doing exactly what I said I was going to do with music. And then, so that right there is the biggest look back ever. You
Mm.
know, proving your doubters wrong, not just the women, but people in general. You don't need nobody's support. You don't need to be trying to work and collaborate with everybody, with all these producers. A lot of producers' head not gonna be in the game. It just is what it is. Focus on you. Focus on coming with the best sound and just becoming a developed man or woman producer, and just being able to bring the most to the table when it comes to working with artists. You know, I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything else. Producers coming up, just be headstrong, be aggressive. You gotta be. This game is designed to break you. This game is designed to get you in debt, to trap you, to get you hooked on drugs, to drain you of all your energy and creativity, and then that's where you get stuck. So that goes to getting yourself right with God before you even get into the game. And even while you're in the game, you still want to be having that close relationship with your higher power. Keep a small circle. Keep people around you that know you, that love you. Don't be trying to be celebrity, all out there producer. You know, it's cool to, if you saying grinding in silence, it's cool to keep grinding in silence. And because hey, there are some producers, if they would have grinded in silence, they probably wouldn't have been getting certain licks hit on them or just certain stuff like that. So yeah, just grind in silence, but at the same time, put yourself out there. You know, you don't have to, because what happens is grinding in silence, you get more respect on the back end of it later on down the road versus
Mm.
producers who are grinding out loud and up front. Um, they end up only being one hit wonders, or people got tired of them, or they crashed out because of fame. I can name you a lot of producers, which I don't really want to do, but they crashed out because they got a certain level of fame or money and they couldn't handle it. And don't always think certain things are in this game are bigger than what it looks like. Certain producers that you might look up to that might be having it, they might be driving this, they might be wearing that. Ain't no telling what they did for that. And on top of that, they might be living in debt. On top of that, they might have bad character. They might not be right with the Most High. So they could be addicted, have certain type of addictions. And then on top of that, you don't want to be stuck in the game. You want to be able to, at any given time, walk away from music and take a break if you need to, and you still have emotion in life.
Mm.
You still having opportunities in life. You still having stuff that you want to go after. Don't limit yourself to just music. You could work real hard at music. You could go hard at it, but don't be caught up in the fairy tale mindset of it all. You got to see yourself being able to be a millionaire with or without music. You know, um, yeah. That's some advice that I could give to producers. That's grinding in silence.
Like, yeah, that was real informative. Have you ever made a beat that you thought was trash, but like everybody was going crazy about it?
Yes, man. It just seems like all throughout my career, artists have not picked my best beats.
Mm.
So beats that I would put in a 70% category, 80% category, those are the ones artists always have picked. And it'd be like certain beats, I'd be like, man, if you, like, why you don't like this one? Like I did everything right on this beat, but the beat where it might be off key or the sound selection might not be as great. Interestingly enough, those were the beats that artists picked. But to this day, now I'm in a point where I can make anything that I want to make.
Mm,
So now I could never look at anything as trash because I make exactly what I hear, and it always resonates, and it always comes out right for the most part.
yeah. Hey, what was the first big like win or big move that you made, if you want to talk about it, or like first big collab, first
The
big
first big
artist?
collab was Metro Boomin. It was a
Mm,
big collab, and this is when Metro Boomin was coming with the Nintendo sound when he first came in the game. You really had to be studying Metro Boomin if you was to know what I'm talking about. And that was when Future had came with that, sang a bunch of narcotics. Yeah, it was that's whatever that song is. I can't really give it off the top of my head, but Metro Boomin was coming with the Nintendo sound, and I collabed with him, and yeah, he charged 250 for the collab. I still got the collab to this day, and that was my first big collab that I did. I definitely would 100% recommend if you got an opportunity where you can pay for a collab, pay for that collab.
mm,
In person is cool too though, but yeah, pay for that collab because you never know what door that could get you in. And even just the name attaching yourself to that producer, that's collaboration is the fastest way to success. People seeing that you work with that producer and make them want to work with you more. So yeah, that was my first big move that I was happy about. And back then, that's when I was finding my lane. That's when I was really getting cold at producing. And back to trash beats that I'll go back and listen to now. I'll be like, dang, I was trash. Now, and because it's like now I see what certain artists is talking about when it was like, no, I ain't feeling that. You had that intro too long. You now I see because I'm so much better. But certain artists they were still rapping on my beats even back then. But I
mm,
just recommend producers becoming like as versatile and as talented as possible,
yeah.
and then you won't have any trash beats. And you know, but back to collaboration. Yep, Metro Boomin. That was my first collab.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I just had a question and I was just gonna, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So how do you feel about 50% Do you feel like producers deserve 50% rights?
Producers definitely deserve 50% of everything. Only exception is if there's multiple artists on the beat and y'all just work that out, an even split. But
Hmm.
I always recommend doing the even split.
Yeah.
Only time you wouldn't do an even split is unless they're offering a good piece of change off the top.
Mm,
Then maybe that's negotiable. When I say a good piece of change, it got to be at least 5,000 or better.
mm,
3,000 is kind of cutting it, but you know, anywhere between 3 to 5,000 or more, then you can kind of be flexible with the percentage. But other than that, producers are entitled to 50%, so they should get 50%.
mm,
And don't let nobody think that they doing you a favor by giving you 50%.
yeah.
That's what you're entitled to. That's what you should get. That's what you're gonna get. So be aggressive about that 50%. You don't owe nobody no favors and nothing like that. Like I don't care if the manager getting 25, so I'm still getting 50%. I don't care what's going on. And you might not have people that wouldn't want to work with you because of that, but hey, so be it. Find some other artists to work with.
Yeah. All right. What's like your favorite genre right now?
Currently, it's always gonna be 80s music for one. And then I'm gonna say R&B,
Mm.
and then of course hip hop. But I like all genres. There's there's
What's
there's
like
no
your
genre specifically, but what was you gonna say?
what's like your top three that you like doing right now? Top three genres.
Uh, I don't want to answer that question because that's kind of giving up sauce.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You good?
Because it's like I blend the two. So
Hmm.
let me grab my charger.
Yep, yep.
I'm blending three genres and making it into my style. But hold on, let me plug this up. All right.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right. What's a like crazy story time like studio experience or music experience that you want to share?
Crazy story time experience. I was in the studio. It was in Chicago, and one of the managers, he had a girl with him, and it was just me, the girl, and the manager. I was making the beat, and the manager and the girl, they was in the cut. And he tried to put the girl on. He tried to put the girl on me. He was like, "Hey, go mess with charisma. Go mess with charisma. Go." And then like mess with him, meaning like trying to see what I'm on, like trying to smash type shit. And
Mm.
the girl came over to me, and she was trying to get something going, and I was just like no, I'm good, you know, just staying disciplined, because I was in the middle of doing what I had to do, making music, and I wasn't gonna stop making my music just to go tend to the bitch,
Yeah.
because I always put my purpose first. And I just saw that as a test. That's how I looked at it, as a test right then and there. You know, and I'm like, no, I'm good. And then she moved around. But she was trying though. That was that was one funny experience I had. Trying to think about any other ones. Somebody's studio got raided.
Mm.
Yeah, somebody's studio got raided when I was in there. That's why you gotta be careful with people and with who you working with and what studios you going to and stuff like that. We was just chilling in the studio making beats. Police came in there, raided everything. They took their computers. They was taking everything. They
Dang.
put it on the ground, had people in cuffs, all that kind of stuff. And then I just told them, well, I was just here to work, and that was it. They just eventually let me go. But yeah, other than that, I don't got too many crazy studios
Hmm.
stories. It was this one time I was in the studio. I was hungry as hell, and then the studio, they had a fridge in it, and then so somebody food was in the fridge. Somebody's food was in the fridge, so I'm just eating their food the whole time. I didn't even know I was on camera. So when I got back in like the other room, because the fridge wasn't in the studio room. I got back in the other room. I had seen in the studio room. I had seen the camera set up. The LCD, the screen. It
Hmm.
showed all the angles that the cameras was in. So like when you go in the store, I was just like, damn, I was on camera doing that, and then nobody say nothing. So I guess they wasn't really paying attention. Well, I just kept quiet about it. I ain't even said nothing. I was just hoping. I was just like, dang, I'm ready to get out the studio. I'm ready to get out the studio session because I was with somebody. I
Mm.
was thinking, 'cause if they found out I ate their food, it's a wrap. That's another thing. You go to studio sessions, bring food, bring snacks, bring food, bring chargers. Yeah, bring a washcloth and a towel and some soap if you need to. You
Real.
might you might be in the studio, bring a toothbrush, be in the studio so long, you might have to freshen up. Some girls come through or something like that. You want to be fresh in the studio. You don't want to be, musty in the studio or nothing like that. So just keep that in mind. Bring food, bring snacks. When I go to the studio now, I'm always, hey, I'll be prepared. Just know that I be prepared like I'm about to stay there for 8 to 10 hours.
Real. Gotta be
You,
setting up shop.
I don't even like being in the studio that long.
What's something that you thought was success in the music game, but once you got it, you realize it really wasn't?
Certain placements.
Mm.
Certain placements, you think when I work with this and that artist, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, and that don't even be the case. It be so much that go on, so many politics, and even once you make a name for yourself, like I thought, once I make a name for myself as a producer, and I would just get more work, and that don't be the case because I mean, no matter what level you at, it's still mad politics involved. So that's something for sure. Along with the money, it's just like I would think. If I produce a song with a certain amount of views, the money would translate to more, but that's not the case at
Mm.
all. Yeah. So yeah, those are a couple things that I was surprised about. I found out about.
Yeah. All right. Is it
Also,
like
I want to add to that. Just by how the people in the music game are. Certain people in the music game are just so pussy and snakes, and it's just like you would expect men to operate on a certain code. Another thing that surprised me was there's no morals in the music game. It's no fairness. It's no just. It's like dog eat dog.
yeah.
Um, that's another thing that surprised me because coming up with the good upbringing I had, I was taught morals. I was taught how to move and stuff like that. Then when you come into the game, you realize that people aren't like that, and it's just you be like, oh, so these people are grimy. They're out to get you. So
Mm.
it just gives you a whole new perspective on everything.
What do you do like when it's like a slow season when you maybe not getting sales or maybe not doing anything? Like what do you do during the slow seasons?
Working on my life, working on making more income, whatever that is, whether it's getting certifications, getting in better physical shape, just learning new things. But that's all year round though. Slow, fast season or whatever.
Mm.
Um, paying focusing on my attention on other things because I mean life was boring when I was just focused on music. But now I'm having fun in life. Now that I'm just not 100% tied up in the beat. So yeah, you realize okay, it's more outside of here. I could have enjoyment in life outside of just being in the studio.
Mm. And since you've been like making music for a long time, you know the basics like the back of your hand. Like what keeps you like fresh and like trying to innovate new sounds or like what keeps you like learning new things?
My love for music and just the experimentation factor.
Mm.
Not liking to experiment, not liking to try new things and new sounds. Also, new producers, up and coming producers, the 15-year-olds, the 16-year-olds that are in the game. I'm inspired by them when they come with new sounds. I like to see and know what's going on, and definitely gotta get that water.
So if you was coming in the game, in the music industry right now, 2025, what would you do?
That's a crazy question, man. What would I do? I would come into the game as an influencer, as a content creator, but still a producer. But I wouldn't come in serious. I'd be doing prank videos. I'd be doing just all kind of stuff to just get myself out there. Just people looking at me and watching me. I would use content as a catch hand, and my producing will be my keep hand. So the content will be a hook 'em, and then they will find out like, oh, he make beats. He's a producer. So I would come in it like that.
That's a fire. That's a
Still
fire answer.
working with other artists, but I wouldn't try to come in the traditional approach is like climbing a hierarchy as a producer. No, I wouldn't do that.
What are like elements you feel like that are needed to be successful in this music game?
A sense of delusion, meaning you got so much faith that you know that nobody can really tell you nothing.
Mm,
That you just know it's gonna work. Meditation, visualization, discipline. Sometimes saying no to that drink. Sometimes say no to going out. Sometimes chill. You don't chill on trying to get a girlfriend or whatever the case is. Staying consistent, seeing the long game, playing the long game, playing it for the long haul. Um, learning from other people that you look up to, like that are successful outside of music. Um, find out the psychology and the ways they think and their philosophy,
mm.
and transfer that philosophy onto what you got going on.
That's real.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't care if somebody, they don't have to be famous. They could just be great at what they do. You know, learn from them, get mentors. You know, you can't trust everybody. Some mentors might hate on you, but you got to know when to cut them off, and you got to know who you could trust and who you can't trust, and that just goes by trial and error. But even the ones you can't trust, you can learn something from everybody, and even if they are hating on you, if they hating on you, cut them off, and it's like, okay, just because they was hating on you, that don't mean that you couldn't learn from them in certain ways at the same time. I'm not saying still keep them close, but always be an observant. You can learn from somebody's mistakes. You can learn from somebody how not to treat people.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stay a student of the game. Be a scientist of the game. Meaning, experiment. Don't just learn all this stuff and not use it. Anything you learn, put it to practice.
For
And
real.
ask questions, get help, pay for consultations, invest. Pay for the game if you have to. It's people that know more than you. I've paid a lot of lawyers just to sit and talk for 30 minutes and to just pick their brain and learn different things about the game. So that's another thing, man. Don't feel like you're too proud to ask somebody a question, or that person can have the answer that you're looking for.
Hmm. For real. I I noticed I used to watch a lot of people like on YouTube or like music producers or something, but I noticed the difference is like, you can come up with your own questions to ask people. That's also with networking, but like asking certain questions, that's how you know when you're really starting to take it serious, when you really asking questions and booking them consultations.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You could pay you
Because
could pay you could pay a certain amount of money and that knowledge will take you further than you know.
I mean, paying for consultations, it helped me get out one of my contracts
Mm,
because the lawyer, she was able to tell me all what was going on and the steps that I needed to take to get out my contract, and then I got myself out the contract just through further research.
what are like some steps you took to make a living off of music?
Steps I took was, for one, register with the PROs, performance rights organizations, and that's ASCAP or BMI or CSEC.
Mm,
So every time I produce a song, I would make sure the songs are registered, and selling my beats, and I just kept working, getting the right placements, and getting my music to the right artists, building my catalog up, produce a lot of songs for a lot of artists if you can, as many artists as you can. Don't put a limit on it. Don't be just happy with one placement.
yeah,
Keep working. Work with people from all over. You know, don't just work with people from in your city or wherever. Work with all kinds of artists in all kinds of genres. You never know where you're gonna end up as a producer. I wouldn't even put myself in one genre. I wouldn't even just say I just produce hip hop. I just produce trap. Always be able to have a different kind of beat for whoever you producing for.
Hmm.
And yep, registering my songs. Eventually, them checks started coming in, and music started paying my bills.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's something I learned when even I was studying business and expanding your menu. That's key. Cause like having one or two things on your menu, it's only gonna get you them sales, but you never know what the
Absolutely.
customer, will like.
Absolutely. I have beats where I'm so in lock and just I got this on lock. So where I got beats I made 5 years ago. When I run into the right artist, whether it's like techno or house, I have that type of beat for that artist.
Mm.
So that's just how diligently I've been working and making sure I'm always crossing the genres to where if I run into an R&B artist, I got R&B beats. If I run into a heavy metal artist, I got heavy metal beats. And whatever other genre, Afro beats artist, I got Afro beats. Always had it in the chamber because you don't want to be trying to get an Afro beats artist a drill beat. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Is any questions you want me to ask or anything? Or anything you want to talk about?
I think I touched on everything. Key points are just staying aligned and knowing your purpose and building up the confidence, building up, doing the inner work.
Mhm.
You know, if you do, your inner work is your foundation. Who you are, the higher power that you're connected to, that's all the foundation of everything. And focus on building that solid foundation. There's so many people in the world that are lost and they let other things define them and they let materialism define their success. But success for me is putting your purpose first, waking up with a fire every day, knowing that you got goals, knowing that there are things that you have to do to get to that next level. Mm. Always, and that goes back to always doing the inner work, working on your confidence, adjusting where your focus is, what you're focused on. Just that way, if you are in the music game and the music game lets you down, you'll never truly be totally let down because you're built on a solid foundation and nobody can take what's inside of you away from
No, that's real. That's real.
you. That's a gem for you right there. That's the most important part for me.
Do you have any like final words for producers or artists watching?
Final words for producers and artists watching. As I mentioned before, first and foremost, work on yourself. That's the most important thing. Get right with God, the higher power, the most high, whatever you refer to him or it as. Get right with that. Do that before anything. That should be your main priority. Making sure that you're full, you're confident, you're uh, you're moving in a state of purpose and abundance. Discover what your purpose is outside of music, because your purpose is bigger than your music. You have a gift, but know what your why is outside of, oh, you just want to be rich and make money. Okay, why do you want to be successful outside of making money? And once you discover that, nobody can take away your why. Always hold your why close and just be tough. Don't be gullible in this game. Nothing is what it seems. Excuse me, my phone was going off. Nothing is what it seems. And again, get involved with all kind of cultures and all kinds of different people and know the way of all arts. Involve yourself in all arts. So when it comes to music, when it comes to culinary arts, when it comes to drawing, painting, graphic design, video art, videography, know the way of all arts because everywhere you go in life it's going to be involving art in some way. And if you could use that gift to help somebody or even to build a connection with somebody in a different area than just music, then you really on something. That's when you on a more purpose driven lifestyle, if that makes sense. You're not in it just for selfish gain, but you have an omnipresence in that way to where it's like no matter where you're put it in life, you can be successful and kind of gel with anybody from any walk of life at the same time.
Okay.
Become the best you could be. Become the best. Be the best. Look at the people who you think are better than you and do your best to become better than them. You don't have to tell people that, oh, I'm better than this person, better than that person. But if you work hard enough and you're diligent and consistent, and I think a key factor is, okay, what happens when the storm comes? What happens when the trials come? You know, prepare for the storms. Prepare for stuff to fall out. Prepare for the hardest times in your life. Can you keep going? Your relative might pass away. You might get in a freak accident. You might lose it all. You might lose your computers. You might lose. Um, Somebody might rob you for your laptop. God forbid. A label might totally f you over and steal your sounds and steal your songs. Somebody might steal your song and you might hear it on the radio. Steal your lyrics and you might hear somebody use that on the radio. So what happens then? To me, that's what breeds. That's what separates the best from the rest. A lot of artists they never been through no trials. They've played it safe their whole career, and I just think trials make you tougher, and trials make you who you are. That's how come I've been able to be around so long. I've been making beats since I was 15. 17 years later, here we are, and I'm still making a living off my music. And I wouldn't have been able to be where I am had I not pushed myself to get through those trials and tribulations. And certain times where I could have just got a job and listened to everybody else and stopped doing music. If I would have stopped doing music, I wouldn't have been able to take care of myself in certain situations. And the music has helped me take care of myself in certain situations where a job wouldn't have been able to do that. When I decided to take breaks, music money was still coming in. And I got to do that. I didn't have the pressure of I got to go into this job. But that all came from working hard towards the goal. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's going to be really, really, really tough. You got to keep that in mind. It's going to be tough, extremely tough. You're gonna go through it, and you got to embrace when you go through it, because on the other side of that, there's more confidence, there's more courage, there's more strength, and then you get to share that with everybody else. Motivate everybody else. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, perfection of the craft, knowing yourself, becoming the best that you, becoming the best you that you can be, knowing the ways of all arts, being able to network with all different kinds of people, and just be unorthodox too as a producer. Learn different stuff, like jump into real estate, jump into different areas, become a firefighter. You just never know where you're gonna end up. Just because you do something else, that doesn't mean it's a backup plan. You just decide to do something else, but you still doing and staying consistent in music because you never know who you're gonna meet down the line. You just never know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to do, you could really put your mind to, and any income that you generate, invest it back into yourself. Don't blow your money.
For
You
real.
don't
That's
gotta
real.
impress nobody. You don't gotta drive a certain car. Uh, you don't gotta post certain pictures of cars and designer clothes that you wearing on Instagram just so people could think that you having it. You don't gotta show your money. You don't gotta show watches. You don't gotta show none of that. Because truth be told, I've never shown you. You can go look on my Instagram. I never shown you a car or a chain,
Mm,
but you respected my wisdom and my knowledge, the things that I've learned about this game, that you came and booked the consultation.
mm-hmm.
So none of that stuff matters. All matters who you are within, and that's going to reflect out on the external.
For real. That's something I've been practicing lately too. Investing back into myself. Like I even got a beat sale the other day. I invested all my money into like I don't have to invest like the whole amount instantly, but
Hmm.
just piece by piece, investing in the small certain things that you need.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
definitely
you got to save to invest, and
yeah.
you still want to take care of yourself at the same time. And my favorite phrase is bet on you. Bet on you. Bet the house on you.
Hmm.
If you could, hey, because you're not gonna let yourself down. And if you do, hey, at least you bet on yourself. You had enough faith to step out and bet on you. So
Yeah.
bet on you, bet on you, bet on you. I can't stress that enough. Nobody else gonna bet on you, and I don't even want nobody else betting on me.
Yeah.
I bet on myself, and I'm cool with that. Win, lose, or draw. I
Yeah.
showed up and showed out.
Yeah, that's the most important thing for real. Well,
Yeah,
appreciate your time, man.
yeah,
Appreciate you doing this, man. We got a collab coming soon.
yeah.
Let the people know where they could find you and what you do. I
I
don't know if he's
appreciate you as well for always reaching out and just seeing the value in the game knowledge and experience that I'm coming with. I commend you for that, and don't stop with me. Always, hey, find lawyers you could talk. Always, just so you could just have so much game and knowledge that where you could pass it on as well.
yeah.
Um, you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Charisma 808. Just Instagram for right now. We're just gonna go with that. I don't use Twitter or TikTok or nothing like that, but Instagram at Mr. Charisma 808. I have a YouTube that I've been working on. I just recently deleted all my beats off YouTube because I told you about the conflicts I was getting. So
Yeah.
I've been actually shifting my focus towards beat tapes because the payout is just much better to me um, than I'm trying to do the YouTube rat race. But yeah, man. Other than that, find me there.
Yes,
Charisma
sir.
808.
Yes, sir. Once again, man, appreciate having you, man. It was nice interviewing you, man. We gonna have that collab real soon, man.
All right, man. Absolutely. Hit me up
I got you.
anytime, bro.